War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about something in the Auburn family spectrum. Always heavy on the sports here on this channel, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you for joining us today, whether you're watching live on the replay, whether you're watching on YouTube, however you got here. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, spending some time talking about something related to Auburn. On this live stream, another early morning, well, not early morning, but a morning live stream. It's going to be on the shorter side too. I want to give you some top bowl games for you as an Auburn football fan to watch, or those of you that are just curious what Auburn football fans might be interested in this bowl season, since we're not in a bowl game. That's still a sore subject. We won't hopefully broach that too much today, but we do need to find reasons to be interested in some of these games outside of just the intrinsic value of them being bowl games and bowl seasons. Frankly, that's all the motivation that I need. But with the bowl games officially beginning today, December 16th, this Friday, thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to maybe talk through some of those things, mention a few of those games, and love to hear some of your commentary on this as well, if there's ones that you're paying attention to. So I've got a list of about 14 games that have some tie to Auburn that I think will make you interested in this particular bowl matchup, or at least just to tune in to what the score is doing overall. With that being said, let's get started as we always do on every single live stream by, first of all, smashing that like button together. So all in unison together, smash the like button. It does help us out. It helps people know that we're live. It helps people know to come back on the replay and watch this video. But what you can do also for us as you're coming to the stream, whether you're live or on the replay, follow the repetition we always do. Post where you're watching from, our check-in period, city, state, international, with a War Eagle, however you'd like to say hello. Let me know that you're here watching. It is a humongous help for you to do that, even on the replay. And we appreciate so many of y'all that do that. Let us know where you're checking in from. So, as I said, these are going to be your normal. We've been trying to do some more morning short form live stream. So I'll be taking your commentary if and as it comes in today, for those of you that are watching live. But mainly, it's just going to be me going through my list that I have compiled for y'all. And I do want to say this at the start, that these are going to be bowl games that have some tie to Auburn to it. Now, we can always extrapolate and say, well, technically, by some degrees of separation, you can connect Auburn back to this one. These are just ones that I, ran through a list of all the bowl games and immediately said, oh, that's got this person in it. Oh, that's got this connection. Oh, we played this team this year. So those are the ones that we're going to be paying attention to. So this is not including the college football playoff, which even if you're not happy with the opponents that are in it, don't really want to see somebody in there win it, you'll probably at least check in on it. This will also not include games that have other universal interest, and some of these will be on there, like the Rose Bowl and stuff like that, but there are other reasons I'm bringing it up. Because of games like the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa Bay, where we will all be eagerly awaiting the Mississippi State Bulldogs to see how they do after losing, tragically, Coach Mike Leach. I think that is one that a lot of people will be tuning into. So that we will not include that one, even though you could make an easy reason to tune into that one for an Auburn fan. Fielder, thanks for checking in. Good to see you. Heading to Marietta this afternoon. Well, it's pretty, I think it's chilly. I haven't been outside yet today, but it looks kind of chilly outside. Linda, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Let's see. They had so much work that had to be done as a double-edged sword that we don't make a bowl game. Lots of going on behind the scenes. Yeah, so obviously with us not being in a bowl game, I wanted us to have at least a list of things to go off of so that we can have reasons to maybe be excited or at least interested to check out the score, if not sit down and watch a few of them. Fitting stadium for Mississippi State to end in. Yes, we could spend a lot of time just talking about that matchup alone, but this is, as much as we love and miss Mike Leach, this is not a Mississippi State show, so we're not going to focus in on that one. But you guys keep your comments coming. Commentary if you have something that I'm talking about, a particular matchup that you want to say, bring that up as we're going throughout the stream. I'm going to go through my list fairly quickly here, and then maybe at the end we'll have some general discussion about it. So let's start off. I have about 14 games. I almost forgot one, big one. Well, none of these are really big for Auburn because we're not in a bowl game, but they have some interest points to it. So this is going from the very beginning of bowl season, starting today, until, the next, I don't know how many weeks it is, but 3 weeks or stuff like that. All right. So number one, and some of these are going to be the obscure ones at the very beginning. I am first going to suggest that you pay attention to the Wasabi Fenway Bowl this December 17th, Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. You have Cincinnati versus Louisville. This is where things get like, Kyle, why do you want us to pay attention to Louisville? Well, I want you to pay attention to Louisville because that's where your defensive back coach, your, I guess, second secondary coach, and Zach Etheridge still currently being here, will be coming from. And he was co-defensive coordinator there as well, I believe, if I'm remembering that correctly. So if you're interested to see what a Wesley McGriff defense might look like, if you're interested to see what a defensive backs under him, even though he's been here several times, we probably have a good familiarity for that. That is something that I would definitely pay attention to. Now, keep in mind, as always, that there are going to be things you can't and shouldn't you shouldn't tie to a team's success or failure, because these coaches, some of these guys are going to be gone, or if we talk about some coaches and stuff, or they don't really have any other tie to Auburn directly or indirectly yet. So think about it from that perspective. So if I'd say watch this bowl game because of Louisville's defensive backs. I would say don't read too much into the success or failure of that, but at least give you an idea of maybe what to expect. And that's why I wanted to bring it up to you guys today. Linda's looking forward to Troy. We could just tie that back to being from, Alabama. I'm from Alabama, even though I'm not in Alabama. Always good to see some of the other smaller Alabama schools other than Alabama has some success, right? All right, number 2 for you, the New Mexico Bowl, December 17th, this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, SMU versus BYU. Battle of the U's. Why would I tell you to tune into that one? Most of you are probably thinking of it right now. Our good old friend, Rhett Lashley. This is probably the biggest stretch, I guess, that I would say to pay attention to, because, Rhett was somewhat in the discussion for the head coach position here at Auburn for a while. He's a former OC. He's kind of a rising star in a sense, but not that SMU is really having, outstanding success under him, but they're not failing under him. So I continue to wonder if he's going to be that guy that, if he continues to show longevity, will continue to rise up the ranks and get, better head coaching jobs. Not saying that Auburn, but just because we have that tie to him, he was very much connected to Auburn. Part of the Gus Malzahn coaching tree, I would say pay attention to the SMU BYU matchup just to see how our good old friend Rhett Lashley is doing as a head coach. Fenway is a bucket list stadium for you, talking about that Fenway Bowl. That's a really unique concept. And, when I was thinking about games that if I were going to go to that Auburn weren't in, that'd be kind of a cool one to go to, because you technically get to see a game in Fenway, but also see a bowl game at the same time. Bowl games are traditionally warmer weather, and these are one of the few ones that are up there in the cold weather, like, some other ones coming up here in just a little bit that we'll talk about. So it would be a cool one to be at. All right, number 3, and a lot of you are going to laugh and think I'm talking about this for a certain reason here in a second. The famous Potato Idaho Bowl, December 20th, next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. No, I'm not telling you to watch it just to make fun of, as you guys call him, Potato Man. That's not what this is about. And is it played on their field? I think it is, the Boise State field. I'm telling you to pay attention to this one, and this is probably your least interested one, but just because it's got a tie for this season. Eastern Michigan versus San Jose State. It's a former 2022 opponent where we beat them enough, but not beat them good enough, I think, in some respect. So if you want to see how a 2022 opponent is doing at the end of the season, pay attention to the famous Potato Idaho Bowl. And I guess if you want to have a reason to make fun or have fun with the whole Harsin thing, there's that as well, if you want to throw that as a caveat on top of that. All right, keep moving right along here. Number 4, this is the one I almost forgot to include, the roofingclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, December 22nd, which is a Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And this one is this the one I forgot? No, hold on. Let me make sure I've got that correct. Yeah, December 20th, 7:30. Toledo versus Liberty. Liberty. Okay. that is our current head coach's former team. So again, this is one of the things I would stress to keep in mind. Don't fret if you see things that you don't like or see things that you really do like, because it's not really going to translate effectively over, but it is nice to get some maybe familiarity with what he's leaving there and what they were about, because they're not going to change up completely when they head to this bowl game in a transition period before Jamie Chadwell gets there, because I believe he's staying to coach the Coastal Carolina Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. So pay attention to the Liberty Bowl, to the Liberty game versus Toledo, Boca Raton Bowl for that alone. You've also got our tight ends coach, our defensive line coach. You got an analyst coming over from there. Who knows? Maybe there's 2 positions open right now, so who knows? Maybe more coming for reasons to keep in up to date with that particular bowl game. All right, let's keep moving here. Number 5, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, December 22nd. That is a Thursday. I think I had Tuesday and Thursday mixed up on the last one. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Baylor versus Air Force. Here's the reason you need to watch that. Your current, I keep saying former today, your current defensive coordinator, Ron Roberts, who is embracing the meme culture on Twitter, might I add, is, leaving this team, or he has left this team already. He was let go. And there's some speculation whether he was let go because they didn't do as well, or because Dave Aranda, the head coach of Baylor, was wanting to kind of promote someone else and Ron was ready for a new thing. We'll never know the true story, but it does look like he was fired because maybe they didn't do as well. So if you want to see what a Baylor defense looked like, again, not reading too much into that, for your new DC coming into Auburn, I would pay attention to the Baylor bowl game to see how they perform against Air Force, which typically tends to have a unique, I think, offense, to say the least. So we'll see how they do with that. Number 6, got to keep moving here. The Union Home Mortgage, Parilla Bowl. Jeez, these names. December 23rd, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Missouri versus Wake Forest. This one alone I just threw in there because it was a 2022 opponent to see, arguably one of the bottom dweller teams along with us in the SEC this year, see how they did. They got bowl eligible. We did not. So maybe this would have been our bowl if we had gotten bowl eligible and we would have been playing Wake Forest. I ironically think this will be a pretty decent matchup. Wake Forest, kind of was up there at times this year. Missouri kind of was, at least had some momentum towards the end of the season. We'll see how that one shakes out. Number 7, the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. Not just because it feels like Auburn's always there, but December 27th, a Tuesday, 6:45. So it'll be a night game. When we were there, it was of course that was on New Year's Day. I think it was New Year's Day. Yeah, there was a noon game. So it's kind of cool to see it be a night game. But the Birmingham Bowl will host and feature Coastal Carolina versus Eastern Carolina, Battle of the Carolinas. Now, why is this interesting for Auburn fans? Well, it may lose its interest very quickly if something doesn't pan out, but your current high priority quarterback in the transfer portal, Grayson McCall, who has a lot of interest in Auburn, who's reportedly supposed to be visiting this week and is reportedly supposed to play in this game last I checked. Now, if that's changed, please let me know. I don't think it has changed. So that would be a reason maybe to watch this one if you're really intrigued by Grayson McCall, if he's going to be coming to Auburn or not, or just even if he doesn't play, see how their offense run. Maybe that gives you an idea of how they utilize their quarterbacks and what to expect there. So that's another one. All right. Number 8, Military Bowl, presented by Peloton, unless I wrote that down wrong. December 28th, a Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, UCF versus Duke. Need I say more? It's Gus Malzahn. So for all you Gus haters out there, there's your chance to dunk on Gus some more, because that seems to give y'all jollies. But I will at least tune in to see how he does against Duke. Number 9, AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Too many liberties talk about here. December 28th, Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. Kansas versus Arkansas, simply because of Arkansas being a 2022 opponent, as they are an every season opponent, but just an SEC opponent. See how they do in their bowl game. Number 10, the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl, December 28th, this Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but a Wednesday. 8 p.m. Oregon versus North Carolina. Now, this was the first bowl game when I was making my list of Auburn fan ties and what you should pay attention to that I looked and said, ooh, that's a good matchup. Two, whether you like him or not, two really good quarterbacks. And I think he's healthy again. I can't remember. I should have checked on that. But Oregon versus North Carolina, Drake May, Bo Nix, two offensively good teams that I think are going to be really good matchup in the Holiday Bowl. Frankly, I think this would have been a better matchup for the Rose Bowl, but that's not how that works. So that's something to definitely pay attention to. I agree, Leighton. Oregon and UNC, will be fun. Yeah. So I would pay attention to that one, and I will probably, because I want to see if Bo is playing and he's healthy and all that stuff, him go out on a high note. All right, we're getting close to the end of our list here. Number 11, the Tax Act Texas Bowl. That is a mouthful. Wednesday, the 28th, 9 p.m., a late game. Ole Miss versus Texas Tech. I got 3 reasons for you to watch this one. Lane Kiffin. No, I'm just kidding. Not all Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, just because of the drama this offseason of him potentially becoming the Auburn head coach. Jake Thornton, your current coming in offensive line coach, who was with him. I don't think he'll be at the bowl game, but if you want to see how their offensive linemen do, watch that. And because they were a 2022 opponent. 3 reasons. So if you want the bowl game that has the most reasons to watch it for Auburn fans, the most ties, that's it right there. But to me, I'm still more interested in the Oregon-North Carolina matchup. Number 12, the All-State Sugar Bowl, Saturday at noon on December the 31st. Alabama versus Kansas State. I don't think I need to say anything else. Go Wildcats. Number 13, the Cheez-It. Always funny to see this. The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, January 2nd, Monday at 1 p.m. LSU versus Purdue. This matchup doesn't really intrigue me all that much. I think LSU will probably beat them handily, but since it's a rival and the 2022 opponent, I'd say watch that. And then what I think will also be a good matchup in our final one to watch, number 14, the Rose Bowl, January 2nd, Monday at 5 p.m. Utah versus Penn State, 2022 opponent. Penn State's in the matchup. I think this is a really good one that people will thoroughly enjoy. I think Utah will win probably by more than pretty comfortably at the end of it, but that's just me. But because it was a 2022 opponent, that's what I say to you. So what do you guys think about that list? Spend just a few more minutes here taking maybe some more comments and questions on this subject. Any other thoughts about bowl games and how it relates to Auburn and all that stuff? Drop them in the comments right now, and then we'll come back to some of those to round out our show. Let me remind you of a few things, as we always do. I don't have a graphic for you, but our next scheduled... Actually, do I have the graphic? I think I actually got ahead of myself. Look at that. Kyle is prepared. Our next scheduled live stream, but always be ready because you never know, we may go live for something, is that Auburn versus USC post-game reaction show right after the basketball game this Sunday, so don't miss that. Check out the links in the description. You need to be subscribed so you can be a part of that subscriber giveaway. Make sure you leave a comment on this video after you're done watching the live stream. Like if you were here live, if you're watching the replay right now, just comment there and it's a part of your entry process. There's the Booster Club and the channel membership program that you can look in there for ways to help support our content and get yourself some perks. Got a brand new also channel member that just joined up yesterday. Thank you so much. If I had your name on the top of my head, I'd thank you. But if you're watching, thank you. So check all those things out and be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this content. All right, last minute comments and questions. Thomas says, I'm just ready to consume as much football as possible. And you should, because this is the last college football that you will have for I'm trying to do math in my head real quick. Essentially, as soon as January, the games get over with, 9 months. Technically, until football is played again, probably really 8.5, but 9 months essentially. So just, take it in while you can, enjoy what you can. You've got a good list of 14 here that I think you should at least tune into, check the scores on, and be aware of. And the ones I said started in the next couple of days or so, even though they start today. Leighton says a lot of these are lopsided besides a couple, especially FSU's, LSU's, and Oregon State's. Yeah, that you saw. I didn't even talk about FSU. I didn't talk about Oregon State, and I mentioned LSU just because they're a rival. So, yeah, That's I just saw a question about something in his profile picture and it threw me off there. So I was like, I don't have a largemouth bass in here. Anyway, yeah, so there are some not good matchups, but surprisingly, such as Oregon, UNC, which is Auburn. There's an Auburn Tide. That's a good matchup. The Rose Bowl is a good matchup. I'm actually surprised with the amount of ones that I saw that I'm going to like this bowl season. So it feels like they did a good job of mixing things up and mixing things around this year. So with that being said, those are my thoughts. Your 14 games. If I missed one, let me know in the comments section when you come back. Here's the question for you to answer in the comment section for you now on the replay if you're watching, or live for you to come back and answer. Which of these bowl games are you most excited about of those 14 that has a connection to you as an Auburn fan? So let me know that in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our short live stream this morning. I always love doing these short form topics with you guys. Until I see you again on the next live stream, the next video, or however we see you, social media or otherwise, War Eagle, my friends.